Welcome to the one show to rule them all, the crypto trading show of 𝐾𝐽𝑒𝐴. It is the channel that introduced both ribbons and origin lines to all of crypto YouTube, and now ribbons can be found on all three of the largest crypto YouTube channels across the whole internet. Hey y'all, get ready for some Timification today. This might be going back to roots of Timification, but not an hour-and-a-half long video. I'm not doing that anymore. So new viewers, I addressed the two things you're doing wrong as a newer crypto investor, assuming you haven't been in the space since 2019 or before. First is when you click buy with your money, you do not know if you're in a statistically probable winning trade. You don't know if it's going to go up or down. You don't know what you're doing when you're pressing buy. The second thing you're not doing is you're not selling. You're probably scared to sell, and you probably haven't sold at all. You're buying and praying, so I convert you from a buyer and prayer into a profit pimp. So you want to be a profit pimp or a buyer and prayer? And so if you want to take some profits and earn more crypto with crypto instead of working your tail off to buy more with your monopoly government money fiat that your job pays you, then this is the channel for you. I'm going to teach you how to get that done. Watch my content on ×2 speed. It'll help. And if I say anything that is foreign to you, like the 4-hour 21 EMA, if that doesn't make sense, you need to check out my free content. It's linked down in the description section, but it's also in my playlist that's called Library. You watch it on ×2 speed, and after you do that, you'll understand other crypto traders as well, a lot more, by going through my free content. So with that said, Crypto and Crypto Crackhead Nation, turn it up to ×2 speed. This is initiation of Timification. This is mostly going to be about ETH. I made a video, I guess, early yesterday morning. It was late at night for me, but 2 nights ago, but technically I made it early yesterday morning. And that was my video for the day, to leave everybody with that thought, that Ethereum is going down while Bitcoin's going up. I had been postulating that that was bound to happen, with Bitcoin essentially moving sideways in a way that it actually has never done ever in the history of its price action. So because it was moving sideways, similar to a lot of altcoins had done in the past, and I've covered this extensively on my channel, Bitcoin's just never, stayed between a couple origin lines that long ever, not once. And because it was doing that, I knew that ETH and Ethereum were going to start breaking apart from each other, all that kind of stuff. And right now, the effects of that are compounding. They're getting pretty severe right now. I mean, if you just look at this week, it's a big red week, and then for Bitcoin, it's a skinny green week, but it's still a green week. That's a pretty big difference. So in that video, I stressed that, they're trying to, the sine cosine waves are getting ready to like clash together. And what I think is going to happen is once they clash, either they'll both pull down together, or they'll both even out and then go up together, right? So I think they're getting, once they meet, I think they're going to move together. And I don't know if that movement's going to be down first. This is honest, this has never happened before, so there are no data points in that specific regard of a sine cosine wave essentially clashing together, with the idea that they will then start moving together as Bitcoin's moved sideways for over 100 days now. Well, sideways and down. 154 days now. I mean, this has never happened in Bitcoin's history ever. So, at least between a couple origin lines like it's been doing. So I want to make this video on things that I've been seeing in the charts that might help us maybe tighten the gears on expectations. Not necessarily, I don't know if there's going to be much of a trading edge here. So in summary, if I could summarize this video before I even say it, I think right now it's kind of a no trade zone for both. Unless you're shorting ETH. I mean, shorting ETH kind of looks like a safe bet, especially if you took that short a few days ago, or when I released that video, I think stuff's going down, and it did. But honestly, overall, I think right now is kind of a no trade zone for everything, and I want to show you why I'm thinking that roughly. I won't give you all the insider tips because that's for my Patreon community, but just very basic things to be looking out for if you're not part of that community. So the daily, and go to my non-ribbons. If I can get rid of all my EMAs here, besides the 200, I almost think the daily 200 is that middle point at which the sine cosine waves, Bitcoin coming up, Ethereum coming down. Actually, if I can just draw that. So Ethereum coming up, or coming down, Bitcoin coming up. I think that middle ground, which they're, almost like a clamp. I think they're going to clamp down on the daily 200 on both charts. That is my guess. And the reason I'm guessing that is simply looking
at Ethereum. Ethereum is significantly above it, and Bitcoin is about the same distance below it. Seems like a pretty good middle ground. If you do stuff like this, the 12-hour, Bitcoin is way below the 12-hour, and Ethereum is right at the 12-hour. So that's not the middle point, because they need to be roughly the same distance away. So whatever distance, Bitcoin is, so just pick a distance like this, Eth's distance from that middle point needs to be roughly the same, or else it's probably not a middle point, right? Now, is this assumption guaranteed to be correct? No. I don't know if, this theory of, what is the middle point is going to be accurate. It could end up being, honestly, it could end up being the 12-hour that is the middle point. Bitcoin just races up while Ethereum keeps moving sideways, and that was the middle point, and Ethereum got there first. That's totally possible. I don't know. I kind of think the daily 200's where they're going to meet, and what happens. So really what I'm saying here is, if that idea is true, it's going to be a really easy tip to say, hey, the market's probably getting ready to move, because now they've met. And for every inch that Ethereum and Bitcoin, assuming they move together, go down, that's kind of warning shots fired, they're getting fired for every little bit it goes down, because that means, they might go down significantly together. And if they seem confident above that line, bouncing off, getting confident, then it's more likely that they're getting ready to move up together, and it will be able to potentially form a better trading edge. So, trading, if you're just trading Bitcoin Cash, or just trading Chainlink, just trading Bitcoin, just trading Ethereum, hopefully without leverage. If you're doing that, just trading one or two coins to try to buy kind of low, sell kind of high, add a little bit to your portfolio during this choppy time where it's hard to make money. Because it's really hard to make money in choppy sideways markets, folks. It's actually easier to lose your money than it is to make money. I'm telling you, especially if you're using leverage. Now, if you're a scalper, then scalpers don't care if it's up or down. So that's a little bit different. But I wouldn't try doing that unless you're a very practiced trader and you've been successful for more than a year. So I don't want to entice you to using leverage on tiny time frames. That you'll lose your money even faster like that, because you got to use more leverage typically. But anyway, so I think the daily 200 EMA is the middle point. Now, I want to do a little test here. So Bitcoin right now is chilling on the 2-day. So here's another way to look at this middle point. So I'm going across time frames until Bitcoin is chilling on that line. 2-day, okay? So it's chilling. And honestly, it might be more like a 30, I mean, can I do this? 30 hours, change interval minutes. No, I can't. I don't think I can go that high. Nope. All right. I don't really know how to do that. But so maybe chilling here if it were a little bit less than 2 days and a little bit more in a day, but whatever. It's chilling on the 2-day. Where is Ethereum chilling? It's I thought it was oh no, this is still Bitcoin. It might help if I go to Ethereum. Ethereum's chilling around its 12-hour. So you can see very clearly 12-hour versus 2 days, they will not have met in the middle until they're on the same time frame, on the same line. And as you can see, what is between 12 and 2 days? The daily. So that's another way to look at, it's very likely that the daily 200 is that middle line that we're looking for. Now, let's try to build a case. Well, I don't know if I can build a case for up right now, but I've seen some things in the Ethereum chart which makes me believe that once they meet, they might both head down first together, folks. I'm seeing more pressure down right now. However, it could all be completely orchestrated, and that pressure down isn't real. And once the orchestrators of it release that because they're satisfied with what they've done, then the normal buy pressure, they'll just get rid of that because it wasn't organic. It's organic to a few large players. And if they say, okay, we're done doing sell pressure, it'll just pop up with almost no signs that it's going to do it. It's possible that it'll happen. So if this is all orchestrated, then that sell pressure could be relieved very quickly, even though most signs are pointing down. That's kind of hopium, but I mean, I wouldn't bet on that being the most probable case. So what I want to show you in general is Ethereum really looks like it wants to hit this line. And if I zoom out, what this line is, the reason why it's different than all other lines is because it's the last market cycle high. So this is 2017. It really looks like it wants to come test it. And let me show you why I'm seeing that. First off, if Ethereum in the end were to simply go to where Bitcoin is now, after meeting in the middle somewhere, it would come to here. The 2-day 200 is right there. And honestly, I think didn't Bitcoin go below it for a hot minute? No, it didn't. So if Ethereum's correction relative to moving averages only, not relative to percentage dips, because technically Ethereum already has about identical percentage dip as Bitcoin, 58% versus Bitcoin's 56 or something. But that really could be just because Ethereum trades heavily versus Bitcoin, and Bitcoin just dragged it down, dragged the US dollar down. And therefore, this really is not part of Ethereum's correction. That was Bitcoin's correction, Bitcoin trading pairs kind of dragging it down. And if Ethereum is yet to do what Bitcoin has done, essentially it's lagging Bitcoin, if that ends up being true, an idea that I've thrown out there on several videos as of recently, you know, that's where that is. It's exactly right there. Did Bitcoin pierce below it? Yeah, it did. It pierced just below it. I don't know. It really looks like Ethereum's targeting that, folks. Okay. So that's one thing. Let's go to the weekly normal EMAs. All right. And again, Bitcoin went down and rested on its weekly 55. Ethereum's weekly 55 is right at that line. And when it comes from above, comes to tag an important line, it usually wicks past it. That would take it to that line. Let's see how Ethereum has interacted. Let's get rid of these other lines here. Let's see how Ethereum has interacted with it in the past. Its first drop was quick, it recovered, and then accelerated down past that blue line. So that percentage drop was what? 58%. What percentage drop did Ethereum just have? I actually didn't plan that. I didn't know it was like identical. 58%. It's different by 0.5%, but 58% and 58%. So to say that, oh no, Ethereum's gonna, Ethereum won't do that. Well, it's already done it before. It had a quick crash, and then went sideways for a while and then did its crash because it lagged Bitcoin. It just lags Bitcoin a lot. And that's what happened. That's what happened back here. This was Bitcoin pulling it down, and this is Ethereum's organic movement down. Even though Bitcoin also kept going down as well. But I remember during the correction or the bear market, people were saying, haha, Bitcoin holders is Bitcoin. Like Ethereum was outpacing Bitcoin for quite a while. And a lot of Ethereum holders here, yeah, I'm glad I hold Ethereum. Your Bitcoin is way lower and you've had a horrible time and we're holding Ethereum. Ethereum's strong. And then bam. So it lagged it. It did lag it last time. I do remember very clearly on YouTube comments and all that stuff that people thought things are up forever. They didn't think their Ethereum was going to go down. And then it lost 95% of its value in the end, which relative to altcoins is actually pretty good. See, 94 and a quarter. So, sorry. Now you can also see the posturing of this is that after it had this flashy, Bitcoin pulling it down, its next lower high was significantly lower than this. So when Ethereum ends up making a higher low after a big, like a kind of a crash, its next lower high is not quite as low, like relative to the previous high. Then it made a higher low. So that's, how it often behaves. Here, it made a significantly lower high and then went significantly lower. So let's go to what we're doing now. Just looking at its posturing and, how it moves. People walk differently, right? So some people walk with their feet outward. Some people walk with the toes pigeon-toed. Some people walk perfectly straight. Some people go like this. Some people go like that, Maybe not that far. Unless you're in Orlando and it's 110 degrees outside, you probably need some ice cubes on your... Woo! Man, God, that was so hot and miserable. Gosh. Wow, I can't believe I survived that. Oh, and on that, now I understand the appeal for iced coffee. After going to Orlando and I needed coffee in the morning, I was like, there's no way I'm drinking anything hot. So I kind of got turned on to iced coffee, and I still like it because it's summer. Well, it's not technical. It's close to summer. It's summer-ish. Summer weather out in Indiana now too. So it's probably 90 degrees out right now where I am. Close to Indianapolis. But so this doesn't look good. That's kind of what I'm saying. I saw some other things too. All right. So the 2-week RSI, when Ethereum had a nasty correction. I think this was like 70%. This is even bigger than what, like that's 66%, folks. But what happened was its 2-week RSI held the line. And what do I mean by the line? I mean this green line here. This is kind of bullish, bearish. This, between here and here is neutral. Below the white line is bearish. And technically this might be the neutral zone, but this just means more significantly bearish. I actually don't, I'm not for sure what this space signifies. I probably should know that, but I don't. But in general terms, this is neutral between here and there. This is bullish, and you can, peek out new highs on whatever time frame. Whether it's so if you go to the 2 hour and it just peeks its head, that means its price is inching up. It is inching up, not drastically, but on that time frame within a 2-day scale, those 2 hour waves are making new highs each time as it peeks its head above. So that's what it means. Hopefully that's a good visual. So all price has to do on any time frame to push forward or inch forward just a little bit is to stay above that green line. And when Ethereum had that nasty correction, so you can see that where I'm circling right now is related to this nasty correction and how it stayed strong. It held that line. It wicked below it, but then it came back above immediately and held it. So what's happening now? It not only broke through it, but it tried, and it got rejected by it. So the posturing's different. I mean, this made a lower high, but very, very close to that high. This is making a significantly lower high now. The posturing's similar. The 2-week RSI's, similar to this. It's similar to this and not to this. It looks like pressure's down, folks. Like really down. Let's look at some monthly candles. Let's look at the monthly 10 EMA, and yeah, let's keep the 21 should be out of play though, I think. Yeah, so just look at the monthly 10. So I don't think we've played with it quite yet. No, we have not played with it. So even in those, so this is kind of more evidence for it's got some pressure down, not necessarily how it's similar to these, but rather that it has work to do in the down direction before it can decide I'm going to recover or not. So when Ethereum made that 70% correction, it got really close to that line, and then it actually ended up touching it a few months later before it decided to do its parabolic move. So before it got a lot of work done, it tested that line, right? And that's pretty common. I mean, that happens if we go to Bitcoin. I mean, that's kind of a common play. I mean, just look at how, you know, it's just a trampoline for it. So I'm gonna bouncy, 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 bouncy. So it's like filling up your NOS or something, you know, or filling up your gas tank. I'm gonna push forward. So you can see how all this push was based off of the monthly 10. It was writing it, determining, hey, I'm holding strong. Then buyers stepped in, and it took off from there. And now it's revisited it, and technically it could charge up again. Honestly, I think Bitcoin looks totally ready to charge up. Without Ethereum in play, I would probably be buying right now. I would be a buyer. Ethereum is a variable that in this mix, I think it takes away my edge. I mean, just looking at Bitcoin only, I think I would have an edge to be a buyer. Whether that's longing something or buying Chainlink or Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Dash, Monero, I would be a buyer right now. I would feel very comfortable putting a lot of my capital if I had for example, free capital. Or just Tether that I sold from earlier at profit, hopefully. I would feel very comfortable looking at this chart, stepping in to be a buyer. I would interpret that Bitcoin is at least ready to come up, peek its head above the weekly 10, somewhere around, I don't know, I would say 47, 48, something like that. Maybe as low as 46, but I would give it up to here, up to these two candle bodies, something like that. So 49K, or maybe as low as that wick. So between this wick and that candle body, I would say it's totally ready to do it quickly. So between 47.3 and 49K. It looks like it wants to charge up there now. And in everything in the charts, I feel, just looking at Bitcoin without Ethereum, I think I would have an edge to play that trade. I think it would be a statistically probable trade. But with Ethereum's pressure down, Ethereum does affect the whole market. I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of like co-leaders. And it's not typical that they're moving in opposite directions. So any edge that I think I might have with Bitcoin, which honestly I feel like I would have, I don't know, I think I would have like a 70% edge, like pretty good. That's usually when I like to trade, when I feel I have, you know, a significantly higher than 50 to 60. Like that is still a no trade for me. I usually sit out unless I'm feeling cute. Then I'll take what I feel, you know, 60% trade. If you ask the question, how do you know what percentage? It's just, I don't know. You could technically go back test everything and see the percentage, you know, based off of your analysis and parameters. I'm just doing it off of feel. I don't know. I just typically know when I have a very high probable trade. And 70 is kind of my threshold. So right now I feel that I would have that with Bitcoin. But Ethereum probably, I don't know. I would say it cuts that in half. So my edge right now, I feel like in anything, even Bitcoin, it's way less than 50%. I bet it's 35 to 40. So like, not only am I in a no trade zone, I just, whether it's Bitcoin's going up or down, or no, especially going up, I think my edge is low. It's very small. It's actually not even close to 50%, and therefore I won't trade. I almost feel more enticed to trade it down, but, you know, for example, Bitcoin, because of Ethereum, but it's already gone down so far. That'd be stupid to be like taking shorts after a monster correction. I think that's dumb. I would rather take shorts when things are high and hot, you know, and made a lower high. Like I would prefer to short a lower high after a massive move up. I would wait for a lower high and short that. I'm not shorting stuff after a big drop. I think that's stupid. Again, unless you're scalping, and getting in and out of trades within like an hour or something. And I don't recommend that to you all. So I don't have an edge right now, folks. Okay, so let's go back to Ethereum. What else is, so there are a lot of things saying this is going to test its prior cycle high. Oh, there is another thing. Sorry. So if you can see the posturing of Bitcoin, how its previous kind of, you maybe call this a mid macro high, it came down to test roughly the bottom of it. Okay. If Ethereum is yet to do what Bitcoin has done, go look. It's plain posturing. If it ends up posturing similar to how Bitcoin has done, which the likelihood of it doing it's pretty high in the end. This was the previous mid macro cycle high, and the bottom of it is at this line because it came down to retest its previous high. So even if Ethereum ends up posturing itself just like Bitcoin, even if it's, assuming it's going to be later, it's coming down to hit that line. There are a lot of things. No, there are a lot of things saying it's going to hit 1300, folks. Now, you should actually be drooling at that thought. If Ethereum gets down to 1300, man, I would actually be happy. That means, like, that could be such a good buy, like once in a lifetime buy. And if Ethereum were to pull Bitcoin down, let's say they meet up in the middle, Bitcoin comes up, they meet up in the middle, Ethereum then heads down, that would probably be pretty similar. If it did drag Bitcoin down, that would probably be equating to Bitcoin 25K going to its weekly 89. That would essentially mean Bitcoin would probably go to its weekly 89. It's a very common play for it in hard times and downward price action, that it would come hit probably wick below this line, somewhere just a little below, that puts you at 24K. If Ethereum both does that and drags Bitcoin down, neither of those are known. They look like at least the first one looks like it could happen. But even if it did happen, we don't know. So let's say we had a 90% chance Ethereum's going to hit 1300. It's okay. So that's a 90% chance. It's hard to make an analysis on whether or not Bitcoin will stay strong and level around 35K or even push up while Ethereum does that. Because maybe people are flocking to Bitcoin because the whole market sucks besides Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance just starts skyrocketing because it's the people's safe haven in crypto. It could easily happen, right? But if Ethereum gets to 23 or to 1300 and Bitcoin, tags its 89, which I'll go backwards in time, show you that it loves to tag it. See, loves to tag it, and then it crashed through. That was coronavirus dump stuff, but I was still guessing 5K, but it went a little bit below my target. But even in this bear market here, it rested on the 89 perfectly. I mean, here, let me zoom in. Just so you know, the 89 is a common play, and that line is freaking real. I mean, just look at price action on that line. This shit's real. It's a big deal for Bitcoin, and it likes to go to it during market, downward price action. Here, it actually didn't play with it very much. It played with other lines, but you can see as the 10 and the 89 squeeze price, that's when the really severe capitulation began. Is when you got that squeeze play of the two EMAs. All right. So that's what I'm seeing. So in summary, Ethereum looks, there are a lot of things saying that Ethereum is going to hit its previous market cycle high. I think it's probable at this moment that it ends up doing it within 2 months. Before summer's over. Actually, summer hasn't even started, so maybe before August. Honestly, it might even be, before August, I would say. Somewhere around early August or before. I think it, is it 90% probable? No. I just think it's probable at this point. What I don't know is what is probable or not probable is what Bitcoin's action to that will be. So, with that said, and I'm summarizing the video, going back to that middle point, the way that you can be really nimble and on your toes and ready to act is when Bitcoin gets up to its daily 200 EMA and Ethereum goes down to its daily 200 EMA, and Bitcoin will probably go a little bit past it. It'll probably wick past it a little bit, so Bitcoin will probably get up in this section. So about 42 to 44K. Whenever Bitcoin gets to around 42 or even 41, so around this middle point, and if Ethereum, assumingly, does also go to 1900 and hits that line, at that moment, if you see that, that is not your signal of, oh, downward's going to happen. It's your signal to be looking at, okay, something's going to happen soon. I am ready for either way. Either they're going to meet up in the middle, Ethereum comes down, and Bitcoin comes up to their 200 EMAs, and then they stay strong and move up together, or Ethereum just drags it down. Or it could stay level and then get dragged down. But That's the moment where you need to say to yourself, I am ready for all three of these scenarios. Moving perfectly sideways, in a range, that could happen. I don't think that would happen, folks. I think that's a what if. I think the three most probable are they stay level for maybe a couple weeks, maybe 4, and then move up. Ethereum just charges down. It only stutter steps for a week or 2 and then pulls Bitcoin down with it. They both move down. Or they try to form a range and then the range breaks down and Ethereum drags Bitcoin with it. 1, 2, 3 most probables. What if, let's just do one what if, they form a range and they end up, Ethereum and Bitcoin start ranging, around or maybe just above their daily 200 EMA. I think that's a what if. I don't think that's a top 3 most probable. So when the moment comes and you see Bitcoin and Ethereum, most likely, because I think they're going to hit the line around the same time, that's your moment to know, okay, we need to go see what 𝒃𝒆𝒍𝒐𝒘 has to say. You just got typified.